Hello and happy Friday. This is Araya, and I wanted to talk today finally about the 12 laws of karma. These are things that, I think a lot of us know on a level, but putting it, kind of reading about it and putting it out there, I feel like is really prompts you to reflect on ways in which your reality might be, reflecting something to you that you would rather it, reflect something different. And these can give you some clues why, because in the end, we're all in control of our own realities here. We're in control of what we experience. It's just a matter of shifting what's within. And that's actually one of the laws. So some of this is, bits of this is stuff I've read, and bits of it is my interpretation of it. So I do have like little bullet points here, so I don't get too lost, because sometimes I can kind of go in different directions and lose track of the main point. So let's get started. There's the first law, which is referred to as the Great Law, and that's the law of cause and effect. And with the law of cause and effect, it's all about sowing what you reap. It says that all energy that you put out will come back to you in some form. Now, you can kind of interpret this in different ways. The main idea here is that, if you want like a happy, peaceful life with good relationships and harmony, you want to conduct yourself in a way that's happy and harmonious, and be a good friend to others, and theoretically you'll attract that back to you. And about the energy you putting out coming back in some form, some of us have gone through periods in our lives before our awakenings and healing journeys, and sometimes during our awakenings in the dark night of the soul, where we're putting out some energy that's real funky, and we're releasing, and there's all this dark stuff coming out. What I would say to that is that's not, that's the process of releasing some of that karma, So with the intention there, once you release it and you transmute it and you're fixing within yourself, it ends up coming back to you once you begin serving others in a much more transmuted, purified way. I feel like a lot of this is based on intention. It's a culmination. The energy that we emit really is a culmination of our words, our beliefs, our thoughts, our state of being. That all creates the energy that's in our magnetic field that attracts and repels. So the second law is the law of existence or creation. I'm getting hijacked by a kitty cat again. So the law of existence, also known as the law of creation, is it pretty much says that we're all connected, and since we're all connected, we need to take action to create the life we desire. What physically surrounds us, because it's all connected, is indicative of your inner state. It's like as within, so without, which is a different set of laws. These are based on Hinduism, and the as within, so without is based on Hermetics. But they all really end up saying the same things when push comes to shove, which is really interesting, and I think says a lot. So don't do it, boy. Don't jump up here, please. So if we want to experience, oh no, never fails. If we want to experience happiness and peace You know, it's the same thing. We want to have peaceful surroundings. We want to make our environment, you know, light. We want to listen to music that inspires happiness within us. You know, if we want to raise our vibration, we want to, you know, read and watch and listen to things that raise our vibration, you know, not things that lower it. You know, there's also an aspect of knowing that taking ownership that we create this reality, but that's a different law also. So, you know, the law of creation is that, you know, everything that's surrounding us reflects us from within, you know. So, that goes to say, maybe if you're stuck in a rut or you've been feeling a little down, you know, maybe change your surroundings, you know, shift your company a little bit, and you know, maybe redo your bedroom or the room you spend the most time in, you know, light some incense or some nice essential oils, and just, you know, because as within so without, it's all connected, you know, and that's what this law is all about. So the third law is the law of humility, which is also known as the law of humbleness. And that is about accepting what is as is. It's also, you know, it also says that we, like I said before, we create our reality with our thoughts, our words, our emotions, our choices, and the reality that we emit, and our beliefs. And so if we focus on the negative aspects of a person or a thing, we're, you know, putting our focus into something that's of a lower frequency, so we cannot be of a higher frequency when we're doing that. You know, anytime we're judging someone or honing in on their negative traits, we are not in a place of having a high resonance, and that's important for us to understand. You know, once we get through that, you know, we can flip that on a dime, right? You know, we can flip that so fast and just be like, oh, well, you're right, I was focusing on the negative there. Let me switch around to focus on the positive, you know? So we want to really strive. You know, nobody's perfect, nor is anybody expected to be perfect, but we all want to take strides in focusing on the positive aspects of things in order to help us truly acknowledge all the beauty in the world, you know. And we want to keep our thoughts in higher consciousness in order to be higher consciousness, you know. So then the fourth law is the law of growth, which is also known as the law of spiritual expansion. And so this one says that the only constant in our lives is our relationship with ourselves. If we want to shift our reality, if we want to change something, we don't try and change things outside of ourselves to change us, you know, or we can't really change anything outside of us, can we? You know, we have to shift from the inside in order to reflect on the outside. Now, I was talking before about, you know, making little changes in your environment, because it all impacts, that can impact you and vice versa. And you can make those changes, and you can allow it to help you shift you on the inside a little bit. Or, you know, if you don't allow it to shift you on the inside, you still, you know, are not correcting your thoughts and your, you know, reprogramming your beliefs and using, you know, more positive words, then, you know, what will end up happening is, you know, your environment will shift again to what it was before, because the inner work wasn't reflected. So really, for consistent change, for real change, that can only be done from within. And everything on the outside are, you know, from our environment to the people that are around us. You know, they say our vibe attracts our tribe, but also our tribe impacts our vibe. You know, so we want to be mindful of that. And if we're struggling with our frequency, we want to look at everything. We want to look at our environment, at our job, at our habits, at our friends, and see, well, first of all, you know, how is that impacting me? But even more, Like, how is my frequency bringing this to me, you know? And, you know, to grow spiritually, you know, we have to adapt to our environment for the most part, you know? Really, we don't ask the earth to adapt to us. We don't ask the people to adapt to our needs. We have to adapt to that, and through adapting to that and raising our frequency, it ends up expanding us. This is why it's also called the law of spiritual expansion, because in doing so, we gain more mastery. I hope that made sense. Because, you know, when we gain, as we learn to adapt to our surroundings, we're learning to tweak what's in ourselves to be happy no matter what. You know, we know that it's not things outside of us that are in control of our happiness and harmony. It's stuff that's inside, you know, our choices, what we do and what we choose to think, you know, what we choose to believe, what we choose to say, both out loud and in our minds. So there's also the law of responsibility, also known as the law of culpability. And this says that we must take responsibility over everything that happens in our life. And I think this is really powerful. And again, a lot of these are kind of repeating the same thing when you get really deep into it. But these are things that I feel like we need to program ourselves with, and we need to have repeated and said over and over and thought over and over again, you know. So, you know, the law of culpability is also saying that everything is connected. And because everything is connected, all, you know, every little thing that we do matters and impacts something to some degree. And so we want to take ownership over our experience. We want to take ownership over the things that we choose and do and say. And, you know, when we become aware of how experiences are drawn through this law, when we become aware of how experiences end up being drawn into our soul and into our reality, then we can rise above ego judgments and move into a higher consciousness and create the reality we really want to have, you know? So there is also the sixth law. The sixth law is the law of connection. And that says that everything is connected, including the past, present, and future. So everything experienced leads to the next thing, which leads to the next thing, that leads to the next thing, right? But it's all connected. And so, you know, in this reality, especially, maybe this works in this way in other realities too, I don't know. But, you know, we want to move through things in a step-by-step manner, because in moving through things in a step-by-step manner, it helps us get things done more efficiently. And, you know, we remain connected to this reality, and we get things done that are in a way are aligned in this reality. But it's important with this to understand that the first step and the last step and the middle step aren't nearly as important as the connection of all the steps put together. And that is the law of connection, which is also the law of relationships. So, so with that knowledge, we could say that, say someone starts life, like, okay, I'll use my life for example. My life started okay. I made some, you know, and then I made some questionable choices, and some other things happened, reflected some trauma and some very unfavorable situations over and over and over again, and more poor choices and more unfavorable situations, and on it went until I started to make different choices. And, you know, I've been pretty much doing really good for like 5 or 6 years. And now I can... So basically, I could let the bad stuff define me. I could let the good stuff define me. Or I could let the entire journey define me and everything that I'll become in the future. And really the most important thing is the culmination of all the experiences, all the choices, where it actually leads, and the whole journey put together. I don't know if that was the best example, but I hope it made sense. So the seventh law. The seventh law is the law of focus, or the law of force. And now this one, a couple of things. So I don't know about you, but I grew up in New York, and I don't know if it was just a New York thing, or just an overachiever thing, or just the way life is now, but I had the misconception that multitasking was the most efficient way to be. That, all I need is like maybe, 2 more sets of arms, kind of like Lakshmi, and I can do this and do that and divide my focus in a million different places at once, and be the most efficient, productive person there ever was. But really, when you are operating from a baseline of a 3rd dimensional or even a 4th dimensional consciousness, for the most part, you can only focus on one thing at once. And when you're multitasking, you're not focusing on more than one thing at once. You're shifting your focus really, really fast. And so things get done more efficiently if we do things one at a time, And so for our, just like, the step-by-step thing is good for this reality, we also want to, when we focus on things one at a time, we end up just yielding better quality results, and we could use this law to understand that because we can only focus on one thing at a time, if we are shifting our thoughts entirely into higher consciousness, then we cannot experience any lower frequencies, because we can only focus on one thing at once. If it feels like we're focusing both on higher vibrations and higher consciousness and negative stuff, we're either just flipping back and forth really fast, or you're getting some kind of spirit interference, from something outside of you, and you're receiving something telepathic. But I would say don't even worry about that. Just know that if you want to shift your perspective, if you want to raise your vibration, if you put all of your awareness on higher consciousness, you cannot experience lower frequencies. And also in your day-to-day stuff, it's better to just focus on one task at a time. Don't try to do 50 things at once. I've tried, I still try sometimes, and it doesn't end well. And whenever I try again, it's only for a second nowadays, because I know better. There is also the law of hospitality, also the law of generosity. So this is about demonstrating. So to me, this is really about integrity also, because it's a lot about living your values and being the change you wish to see. You want to demonstrate in your reality what you believe, and you want to be the embodiment of what you want to see in the world. So it's about living your values and really putting your beliefs into grounded action, and not just being someone that says stuff. Honestly, the spiritual community is way too full right now of people that talk the talk but do not walk the walk. And I think for a lot of us, that's part of the process. Act as if, become as if. I encourage you, everybody out there who's watching, don't emulate anyone, really, and don't feel like you have to be any kind of certain way to be on the path or to be accepted or anything like that. Really just get to know yourself. Get to know yourself, love yourself, accept yourself, get really in tune with what your values are, what your beliefs are, and live them, because that's one of the most important parts of ascension. We have talked to the pure ones a few times, and we were under the misconception that we had to ascend like super, super quick at one point. And so they were kind of telling us, well, it's all about purification. Humility, compassion, and frugality, and integrity is a big part of it too. And integrity is all about demonstrating your beliefs, living your values, and basically walking your talk. And these are the things that you really want to focus on. That and being of service to others when you're ready to. So this also has to do with the act of giving and receiving being like a demonstration of the truth of your love, and so when we care about people, that doesn't mean we have to do necessarily something fancy or flamboyant or anything, but it means we give them energy. We give the people we love our energy. We communicate clearly with them. We give them time. We it's about grace and really being what you want to see in the world, being the person, as far as being a friend, being the person that you'd want to be best friends with to the best of your ability, being to your partner, being the best spouse that you could be to the best of your ability. Another important aspect of this is that all the beliefs that we hold and that we talk about are something that the universe will eventually have us be called to demonstrate in some way, and everything we learn eventually becomes our calling to put into action. So we really want to get in touch with our own personal integrity, and we really want to, in everything we do, just be that light. That's what makes your light special. Your specialness is your integrity, your own beliefs, your own perspective, and if you want to do your job, put that into action. Be authentic. Do it. Make your own words, make your own modalities, make your own everything, do things. It's okay to be inspired, but then take that inspiration and make your own stuff. And then there is the law of presence. That's the 9th law. And the law of presence pretty much states that we're most at peace when we're in the present moment. When we're in the present moment, then all of our awareness is here. When it's in the past or future or somewhere else in time, space, where it's not at our full disposal, So we always, and also, if we're focused too much on the past, we are going to be prone to get depressed. And if our focusing is too much on the future, we can get really anxious. I've been sitting there, pretty much having a panic attack over something, and and not too, like a year and a half ago, and they go, why are you not in the present moment right now? And just like that, it took like 30 seconds to be like, all right, I'm okay now. It's presence is so essential, and one of the things about the focus thing that got me thinking, the law of focus is, aren't we supposed to like learn how to bilocate and multi-locate and stuff like that? Well, we will one day when we are, more in our fifth dimensional consciousness more often. But I could tell you that you're not going to get anywhere near phase locking fifth dimensional consciousness or bilocation or multi-location if you haven't mastered presence. Got to master the presence first. So the 10th law is the law of change. Everybody, not everybody, but you hear a lot that the only thing that's certain in this world, in this reality, is that everything changes. More importantly, though, our spiritual growth and everything we know is a product of change. Everything's changing. As I speak, I have billions of cells multiplying and doing things, and body parts working. There's a whole unseen world moving, incredibly fast in front of my face and back and all around us. Everything's always changing, and the important part of this law, and this is something that a lot of us kind of bypass, if we keep experiencing the same thing over and over again, it's a pattern. And if we're experiencing a pattern, there's a change that needs to be made to transcend that loop. And you might be sitting there and be like, gosh, I am experiencing patterns, and I keep changing things and it's not helping. So what up with that, Araya? Well, maybe you didn't make the change that you needed to. The universe will keep repeating an experience until the soul acknowledges the lesson by shifting its direction. So I would say if you're in that position, really go within and be like, okay, there's something here that I probably haven't been hearing or seeing or perceiving. What is the shift that I really need to make? You know, I've come in contact with some clients that, you know, we tend to get some of the ones that are just have a lot going on, and it's like every once in a while I'll get someone that's like, well, having such a mess that it's like, what do I do? And it's really like, literally change anything. Any change you make will shift your trajectory, and you can only go up from here, you know. And you know, changing little things are a big part of transformation. You know, we have to be willing to shake up our routine a little bit sometimes and try different things. That's something that I've had personal struggles with, because I'm very I can get kind of attached to routines and doing the same thing. But and I think that can be natural for some of us. But if we want to provoke positive change in our reality, really any change, but we really want positive change, right? If we want positive change and we feel like we've kind of like, you know, maybe nothing's really wrong, but we felt like we've kind of hit this, like, nothing's really happening. There's nothing new. I'm kind of stagnant. Just shake it up. Change anything, you know. Have a different drink in the morning. Start going hiking, or, you know, next time you go out, talk to someone you wouldn't normally talk to. You know, get a different style of clothing. And just look for a little way to change, knowing that each material thing also has its own energetic frequency, and each action and choice has its own energetic frequency. And by making changes, especially, you know, positive changes or just experimental positive changes, you just, you know, the worst that could happen is that you don't like how it feels, and then you don't do it again. And the best that could happen is you set the stage for a whole new chapter in your life, you know. So don't be afraid of change. Change is what helps us grow. Change is necessary for us to move to the next level and not repeat the same mistakes over and over again, you know. The 11th law is the law of presence. Not presence. I'm sorry, the law of patience and reward. And so this is all about like having effort, hard work, and consistency and patience pay off over time. You know, a lot of times, and I know I've experienced this, and a lot of you guys have experienced this, you know, we'll start to do something and we'll start putting our energy into something, but, you know, sometimes the reward doesn't come. It usually doesn't come until we put enough energy into it, until we've shown up day after day after day, and really, you know, allowed the fruits of the energy that we've invested to blossom. So basically, it's like with perseverance, focus, and dedication, you end up creating a lasting change rather than an instant gratification, temporary shift, you know? And that all comes from focus, perseverance, consistency, commitment, and putting in effort consistently, like every single day. Once we earn through what we create, we can experience true joy and satisfaction. And that's a quality that only comes from like putting in energy and effort into something, you know? And so when we're approaching projects, whether they're recreational or career-based, we really want to know, we need to realize, that's what I'm trying to say, we need to realize that, you know, basically going back to the first law, and that in those areas, what we sow, we're going to reap eventually. If we, you know, maybe, you know, small, infrequent, inconsistent efforts don't really pay off the same way necessarily. Sometimes they can, but a lot of times, you know, the universe wants us to choose and show up and really commit to the things that we want in our life. And just the satisfaction that you get for something that you've actually put your blood, sweat, and tears into, metaphorically speaking, because it doesn't have to be quite like that. You know, something that you've really invested pieces of your spirit into, and eventually, even if it takes like a year to earn any kind of reward on that, imagine how sweet that is once it comes, you know. And then knowing, just with the knowledge of knowing that there's a reward at some point is motivation, you know, for the to be persistent and patient with things, you know. Nobody shows up every day with pure intentions to do something and then doesn't get any opportunity or reward from it over time. It's a universal law. So you all could have faith in that. Just be sure that you're aligned with your mission and purpose and in divine grace with everything you're doing, you know. And you'll be able to feel it from the universe. You'll be able to feel it and see it in little ways. And the 12th and final law is the law of significance and inspiration, which is also known as the law of motivation. And this says that, you know, everyone has value and everyone has something to add to the world. We all have a small piece of the puzzle that make complete, you know, for the highest and best good of all things on earth. And we all have, you know, missions and purposes and you know, it's an area where we're all equal. And it also says that the value of anything in life is a direct result of the energy and effort put into it, no matter what you do. And there's a few things I want to say about this that's true as far as, you know, anytime, you know, somebody is providing something for you that they put effort into, it is okay for them to want an energy exchange for that, you know. So if there's any of you out there that are still feeling funny about charging for your gifts, remember that you're putting an energy into something. I mean, you could be, you know, somebody that just puts your energy. You could be the listener, the professional listener. And if you put your time and energy into listening to somebody, why not, you know, be okay with accepting an energy exchange for that, you know? And that also goes to say that if you're creating a project and you're putting, you know, you're going to get much better results if you take your time and put a good amount of energy into it and consideration for sure, rather than just breeze through it and get it done real fast and just slap some things together and it looks pretty decent, but the value and the integrity isn't going to be there. You know, we want to really take our time and put our spirit and soul into things and put our love into things. And more importantly, when we love what we're doing and we're truly putting our love into spirit into things, that not only is more satisfying, but it reflects in what we put out there, you know. And that goes with work type stuff, relationship type stuff, when we create for friends, family, you know. And I mean create as in create. You can create events, you can create a fun day, you can create a dinner, you know. We can create in manifestation itself, you know. We can create situations, and so that also if we lack personal effort, that contributes to lack, and then the result of what we're doing is diminished, you know. So we really want to take our time with things and give things the energy and effort and consideration they deserve, and do so with loving energy. All right, I'm going over a half hour here. I'm almost at 33. So I am going to close this video out for now. I may do a third one that just kind of brings it all together and talks about, you know, the way karma often reflects in our lives and stuff like that. That being said, I really enjoyed this. I hope you all got something out of it. And I send you all lots and lots and lots of love. Have a wonderful, wonderful day and evening.